Good morning. Welcome to the press briefing session. Chief Executive, good morning. This morning, the News Department of the State Council promulgated the White Paper on Safeguarding National Security in Hong Kong under One Country, Two Systems. It has significance. I welcome the promulgation and I give it my fullest support. The Hong Kong SAR will support the White Paper and meet all the requirements under it. I am the leader of the Hong Kong SAR. I will coordinate and lead the executive and the judiciary as well as the legislature to fulfill our duties. The White Paper states that from the inception to the materializing of One Country, Two Systems, all the way to its implementation, the focus is on maintaining national sovereignty, security, and development interests, as well as maintaining Hong Kong's long-term prosperity and stability. On many different ways, the White Paper points out that our struggle has never ceased. That includes the ultimate responsibility of the central authority on Hong Kong, Hong Kong's constitutional duty to safeguard national security, the situation in which Hong Kong is moving from chaos to stability to prosperity. We will maintain high-quality development as well as high-quality implementation of the One Country, Two Systems. First of all, the White Paper in details sets out the struggle to safeguard national security. It points out that over 20 years after reunification, Hong Kong's struggle to safeguard national security focuses on the local legislation of Article 23 of the Basic Law. For a very long time, the legislation was not done, giving opportunities to hostile forces. The extradition bill saga turned into a color revolution in Hong Kong. Blacklight violence has seriously undermined Hong Kong's bottom line, seriously affecting Hong Kong's development as well as our national sovereignty, security, and development interest. It also shows that there are legal loopholes and systemic shortfalls in Hong Kong when it comes to safeguarding national security. The White Paper also points out that Hong Kong has an inherent responsibility to safeguard national security. It also points out that safeguarding national security is a matter for the central authorities. Safeguarding national security is an international convention. When Hong Kong could not legislate on its own, faced with challenges on our national security, the central authorities exercised its constitutional rights to legislate, to promulgate the national security and put in place improved systems to effectively safeguard national security. It effectively maintained the constitutional order in Hong Kong. It has seriously clamped down on the anti-China elements in Hong Kong. It has seized the chaos in Hong Kong. It has a decisive effect on changing the situation to stability. It has a significance of that of a milestone. The White Paper also sets out the constitutional duty of Hong Kong to safeguard national security. It points out that since the promulgation of the national security law, the Hong Kong government has fulfilled its duties. The executive, the legislature, as well as the judiciary all carry out their duties duly to suppress, stop and punish acts that undermine national securities. Hong Kong has completed its constitutional duty to legislate for Article 23, which has been a long-standing shortfall. Our law enforcement agencies, the judiciary, carry out their duties to clamp down effectively on acts that undermine national security. The government has been stepping up publicity and public education to raise awareness. The white paper also says that moving from chaos to stability to prosperity is the concerted effort of Hong Kong and the central authorities. Hong Kong's work to safeguard national security has made achievements. Our sovereignty has been effectively protected. Our governance has improved. Our rule of law has been safeguarded. Social order has been restored. The business environment has been blooming. It has injected certainty, predictability, and stability in our system. The rights and freedoms enjoyed by Hong Kong citizens is better protected. Hong Kong people's welfare is improving. The white paper points out that using a high-quality approach to maintain a high-quality development is a must. It points out that in a new journey, a new era, we need to be guided by the overall national security. We need to effectively fulfill our duty to safeguard national security. We need to make sure that one country, two systems is steadfastly implemented. Central authorities' responsibility are in line with those of Hong Kong. The governance of Hong Kong is in the hands of patriots. We need to stick to the rule of law to safeguard national security. We make sure that we open Hong Kong, develop Hong Kong under the principle of national security. The white paper on safeguarding national security in Hong Kong is very important. It provides guidance. We need to seriously learn the important points and the spirit of the white paper. I have learned 3 things from the white paper. First, the struggle for Hong Kong to safeguard national security never ceases. There is always a risk for our national security. We have to remain vigilant. Safeguarding national security is the jurisdiction of the central authorities. We need to locally legislate laws to safeguard national security. We have to fulfill our constitutional duty to safeguard national security. We have to make sure that we will achieve high-quality development under national security. The white paper reminds us of the risks that undermine national security. The promulgation of the white paper is the most severe warning to traitors of Hong Kong. Jimmy Lai was sentenced severely to 20 years imprisonment yesterday. The malicious intent harbored by bad elements should receive the warning. Jimmy Lai has committed heinous crimes and has been punished to a 20-year imprisonment. For a very long time, he used the Apple Daily to poison the minds of Hong Kong people. He harbors and stirs hatred. He glorified violence. He openly begged for external forces to impose sanctions against China and Hong Kong. He betrayed and sacrificed the well-being of the people of Hong Kong as Hong Kong SAR. He has harmed our country and Hong Kong. There is irrefutable evidence. The judgment of the court has made it clear that Jimmy Lai is the mastermind behind all these activities. He made use of the Apple Daily to openly beg for external forces to impose sanctions and engage in hostile activities. His intent is malicious. He wanted to collude with external powers to harm the interests of our country, of Hong Kong, and our people. He shamelessly acts as a pawn of external forces. The court, in accordance with the law, impose serious punishment to Jimmy Lai and the co-defendants. However, Hong Kong has paid a heavy price. The Apple Daily, under the leadership of Jimmy Lai, was used to poison Hong Kong people's minds. Young people became radical and violent. During black-clad violence, they have committed acts of vandalism on public facilities, stormed the Legislative Council and government buildings, threw petrol bombs, committed arson, and set people on fire. There were some young people who smuggled real guns, made bombs, and plotted terrorist activities. It was fortunate that the police had taken prompt enforcement actions to crack down on these plots, preventing mass casualties. Many of these young people had been sent to prison because they had broken the law. As at the end of last year, more than 2,400 individuals have been held accountable for unlawful acts during the period of black-clad violence. It is plain to see that the evil deeds committed by Jimmy Lai and his syndicate were beyond measure. The Hong Kong SAR has completed local legislation for Article 23. We have also enacted the Safeguarding National Security Ordinance. The National Security Law and the Safeguarding National Security Ordinance worked as one. We will safeguard national security, protect Hong Kong people's interests, and with full force stop, prevent, and punish acts that undermine national security. Thank you.
I now open the floor for questions. Please identify your media outlet when you're called upon. The lady in the first row. Good morning. I'm from Singtao. Regarding the long-term housing options of the affected residents of Wong Fuk Court, 90% of the residents' views were collected. Will the government consider buying property ownership or titles using public funds? How do you strike a balance? And I'd like to ask a contract in relation to Palama case. The Hong Kong government expressed dissatisfaction. There is no response from the other side. What is your view on it? Will you appeal to the business sector to invest more cautiously? Thank you. The government attaches much importance to the long-term housing arrangement for the affected residents of Wong Fuk Court. We provide appropriate assistance to the families affected. Regarding long-term housing arrangements, the issues involved are complicated. The needs and circumstances of every household varies. There are different public views in society. The government will carefully handle this matter, and we will also strike a balance. There are pragmatic matters to be taken into account, including the use of public funds, the allocation of housing resources, legal matters in relation to property titles, and so on. The government will appropriately handle transitional arrangements. Of course, we need to act fast. We need to help the affected families as soon as possible. As for the task force on emergency accommodation led by the Deputy Financial Secretary, they have been working very hard to draw up concrete proposals. First of all, they need to consider the preferences of the affected families, and they need to take into account compassion law as well as other factors. First of all, there needs to be a range of options, including HOS as well as other options. We need to provide an option for the affected residents in Tai Po to choose rehousing in another district. The team of one social worker per household has already collected views of the affected residents. We have largely collected all the residents' views. The task group is working full steam ahead to analyze the preferences and options of different owners. Some people want the government to handled long-term housing arrangements as soon as possible. Some property owners said that they would consider the option of the government buying their property titles. The task group has consolidated the issues and challenges lying ahead. First of all, regarding the differences in the needs of different families, how can they handle these matters? Next, regarding the liabilities and insurance of wrongful court, how can legal matters be resolved? Regarding legal disputes and property title liabilities, will risks arise in the long term? I have already instructed the task group to analyze possible proposals as soon as possible. They also need to take into account the possible legal matters. They need to consult the Department of Justice to put in place arrangements as soon as possible. I understand this period has not been easy at all for the affected residents in wrongful court. We will work tirelessly to finalize the proposals as soon as possible so that the affected residents can rebuild their homes and get back on their feet as soon as possible. Regarding a decision of the Supreme Court, that is the Panama Supreme Court of Justice, the Hong Kong government expressed its disapproval of the ruling made by the court. Our position has always been clear. We are against any pressure, menace, or inappropriate political means to affect trade. The CEDB last week met with the Consul General of Panama. We have expressed our strong dissatisfaction and disapproval of the ruling made by the court. The Panama took a U-turn, and the credibility of them has been affected. This has affected the local economy. It has also seriously affected international trade rules. We appeal to the Panama government to respect contractual spirit. We need to ensure that the legitimate rights of enterprises are free from any interference. Investments in relation to this regard should be protected in a fair and reasonable manner. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs already said that the Central People's Government would take any measures as appropriate to protect the legitimate interests and rights of Chinese and Hong Kong enterprises. We will cooperate fully with our country in taking these actions. I believe this incident has already affected the confidence in the business environment in Hong Kong. We will carefully handle this matter, and I hope that the Panama government will protect the legitimate interests and rights and also protect contractual spirit.
Executive, two questions from Full TV News. So the first question is, after Jimmy Lai's sentencing, you described him as having committed numerous heinous crimes, and his evil deeds were beyond measure for the 20-year imprisonment. Do you think the sentence reflects his culpability? Will the authorities appeal the sentence to the judiciary? What are your views on the perspectives of European and American countries regarding the case? And the second question is, the government has issued a questionnaire to wrongful court residents on the rehousing scheme for more than a month. Will you commit to having a more optimized scheme before Lunar New Year so that residents can celebrate the New Year with peace of mind? And additionally, the government's proposed scheme may involve the use of public funds. Will you instruct the Financial Secretary to reserve funding for wrongful court rehousing in the budget to be announced at the end of this month? Thank you.
Jimmy Lai, who has betrayed the country and Hong Kong, has been sentenced to 20 years imprisonment, a heavy punishment that sends a solemn warning against malicious plots of collusion with external elements and endangering national security. Lai has committed numerous heinous crimes, and his evil deeds were beyond measure. The heavy sentence of 20 years imposed on him manifests that the rule of law is upheld and justice is done. Lai had long used Apple Daily to poison the minds of the people of Hong Kong by inciting hatred, distorting facts, deliberately stirring up social antagonism, and glorifying violence. He has openly begged for external forces to impose sanctions against China and the Hong Kong SAR, sacrificing the well-being of the people of China and Hong Kong. He caused damage to the interests of the country and the Hong Kong SAR. His conviction is supported by overwhelming evidence, and he deserves the punishment after all the harm that he has done. The court pointed out clearly in its verdict handed down earlier that Lai was the mastermind of the case. He had manipulated and exploited Apple Daily to poison society and colluded with external forces to back for sanctions and hostile activities against China and Hong Kong SAR. Lai's malicious plot spanned across both the periods before and after the promulgation of the Hong Kong national security law. His intent was to collude with external forces to harm the interests of China and Hong Kong SAR, as well as those of the people. He has shamelessly acted as a pawn of external forces to endanger national security. The court has already handed down heavy sentences for Lai and the other defendants in accordance with the law, manifesting that the rule of law is upheld and justice is done. That said, Hong Kong as a whole has already paid a heavy price. Poisoned by Lai and Apple Daily under his control, some of our citizens, especially young people, have been misled to break the law and become radical and violent. During the period of black violence, they committed acts of vandalism on public facilities. Not only did they storm the buildings of the Hong Kong SAR government, the Legislative Council, and offices of the central government in Hong Kong, they also threw petrol bombs, committed arson, and even set people on fire. Furthermore, some young people smuggled real guns, made bombs, and made plans for terrorist activities. It was fortunate that the police had promptly cracked down on these plots and prevented mass casualties. However, many young people who have been incited to commit crimes eventually ended up in prison. As of the end of last year, more than 2,400 individuals have to face legal consequences for unlawful acts during the period of black violence. It is plain to see that the evil deeds committed by Lai and his syndicate were beyond measure. Hong Kong SAR government has completed the local legislation on Article 23 of the Basic Law and enacted the Safeguarding National Security Ordinance. The Hong Kong National Security Law and the Safeguarding National Security Ordinance are complementary to each other to establish the legal protection for safeguarding national security. They also protect the legitimate rights and freedoms of the people of Hong Kong, and the Hong Kong SAR will do all its best to prevent, suppress, and punish acts and activities that endanger national security and fulfilling its rights and fulfilling this responsibility of the most righteousness. Since we took action against a lot of syndicates who were involved in crimes related to endangering national security, Western countries and also politicians and organizations have been bad-mouthing Hong Kong's Reuters action to protect national security. They are doing this, of course, for their political agenda. A lot try to cause trouble in Hong Kong so as to cause trouble to our country, China. Thanks to the Hong Kong National Security Law and Safeguarding Hong Kong Security Ordinance, we now have the tools to take action against all these illegal activities and acts. We will resolutely fulfill our duty to safeguard national security despite all the political attempts that try to smear our Reuters action of safeguarding national security. They all do this for obvious reasons. Some of the people we are taking action against are their pawns, are their representatives, are under their influence to endanger Hong Kong's and our country's national security. It will be against their interests that we successfully neutralize their attempts. So these attacks, I expect, will continue because this is something they will not stop in order to ensure that their own national security interests override others. Certainly, I will not allow that to happen. Regarding sentence, the DOJ and the police will study in detail the judgment and the reasons and consider it fully. Regarding went for court, okay. I attach great interest and importance to the long-term accommodation arrangements for residents of Wangfu Court, and the government has been continuing to provide suitable assistance to the affected families. Well, the issues that the government has to resolve are really complicated because each household has its own circumstances and needs, and there are also very diverse opinions in society. The government must carefully consider and deal with the various views and take into account some very practical issues, such as the appropriate use of public resources, the allocation of public funds, the distribution of housing resources, and the relevant legal ownership-related responsibilities and challenges. The government has also need to properly manage the transitional arrangements of accommodation. Timely action is crucial, so the sooner we can make available the options for residents to choose, the better. The task force on emergency accommodation arrangement led by Deputy Financial Secretary has been working incessantly to develop a concrete plan in the following directions. First, to consider the wishes of the affected families while ensuring the efficient use of resources and balancing empathy, reason, and law. Second, to provide multiple options to affected families, including home ownership scheme and green form subsidized home ownership scheme flats, as well as Hong Kong Housing Society units. And also, third, to offer accommodation arrangements either within Tai Po or across different districts. Through the one social worker, one household service, the task force collected preliminary preferences from affected flat owners. Currently, responses from them have largely been received. The task force is working intensively to compile and analyze flat owners' preferences regarding different options. Initial observations indicate that the vast majority of owners hope the government will expedite the handling of long-term rehousing work. A significant proportion of flat owners have expressed willingness to consider the government's acquisition of their ownership rights. Some flat owners have indicated that they need to look at the actual acquisition price. The task force is currently working hard to overcome some of the following issues which poses difficulties and challenges. First, how to handle the differing needs of various families in a consistent manner. Second, issues regarding liability, compensation uncertainty, and relevant legal matters concerning the public insurance of wrongful court. Third, whether ownership-related responsibility and legal disputes will pose risks of prolonged delays in resolution. I have instructed the task force to promptly study the feasibility of various options and the legal issues, seek advice from the Department of Justice, and propose arrangements as soon as possible. I understand this is no easy time for families of wrongful court. The government will work tirelessly to finalize the plan as soon as possible, enable affected families to make the most suitable choices, and assist them in rebuilding their homes and resuming their normal lives as quickly as possible. Regarding our arrangements, of course, we may have to use some public funding. The government will prudently make assessments and make appropriate arrangements to ensure that public funds are used effectively, striking a balance between the needs of the residents and the reasonable use of public resources. Thank you.
好，最後一條提問。
Last question. The reporter in black. I'm from Xinhua. The white paper. Well, there will be a plan being announced. On a number of times, Hong Kong government said that they will be proactive when it comes to dovetailing the 15th five-year plan. Is there a timetable? What are your plans? During the Chinese New Year, there will be the peak for mainland residents to travel outside. Hong Kong is a popular destination. What activities have you lined up for mainland visitors? When it comes to promoting the integrated development of culture sports, what are the mega events to encourage people to come to Hong Kong? This is the first year of the 15th five-year plan of our country. We will actively dovetail the 15th five-year plan to enhance our competitiveness, to further develop our economy and improve people's life. We will seize the significant opportunities arisen from the five-year plan. I have some observations. First, why do we have to dovetail with a national development plan? We have a systemic advantage. We make use of the 15th five-year plan to promote high-quality development, economic development. We enhance the development of conventional development. We promote innovation, technology, and in-depth integration of different industries. Hong Kong is now facing a change of industry transformation and keen international competition in addition to geopolitical tension. The national development will give us impetus. We will work with the short, medium, and long-term development of our country. We will play into our advantages. We will explore new development opportunities and improve our economy as well as people's lives. What do we dovetail with? We focus on key areas. We will consolidate Hong Kong's position as an international financial center. We will assist our country to align with international development. We also dovetail our country's plan to enhance their transportation. We will create synergy. Thirdly, we will enhance Hong Kong's position as an international trade center. We will assist our country to tap into overseas markets. We will play our role to attract capital and assist enterprises to go global. We will seize our advantage as an innovative city. 5, Hong Kong will be a hub for international talents. We will make use of talents and science to strengthen our country. And these are just examples. Of course, there are other areas. Third, how do we dovetail into the national development? We will work on our 5-year plan. We will put in place a framework. On key development areas, we will have more focused, detailed development plan. I will personally lead a whole government, cross-departmental and bureau task force to coordinate the plan. There will be a preparatory plan. The preparation committee, after the promulgation of the 15th five-year plan, will be transformed into another working group to implement our 5-year plan. We will embark upon infrastructural projects. We will strengthen executive-led approach. We will work on economic development. We will boost our governance effectiveness. We will maintain our international business environment. We'll ensure that enterprises will enjoy a transparent and fair business environment. We will promote economic development between Hong Kong and the mainland. We will work on CEPA. We'll make good use of our existing mechanism. We will expedite the development of the Northern Metropolis. The Northern Metropolis gives us new development opportunities. It is also an important bridgehead for integrated development into the Greater Bay Area. It also gives us the support we need to develop innovation and technology. We also have to have a coordinated development. We will strengthen regional development in the GBA. We will improve connectivity. This is in relation to the 15th five-year plan. In relation to your question about Chinese New Year, next Tuesday, the 17th of February, will be the first day of the Chinese New Year. I would like to take the opportunity to wish you all a healthy and prosperous Year of the Horse. The Chinese New Year Golden Week spans from the 28th day of the last month to the 7th day of the Chinese New Year. Altogether 8 to 9 days. We have lined up a series of exciting activities. Tomorrow is the 24th day of the last month of the year. Chinese New Year market will start. And these stores will trade till the small hours of the first day of the new year. On the 12th of February, there will be activities of a Lantern Festival at Tsim Sha Tsui. The night of the first day of the new year, there will be night parade with a theme of Happy New Year. Over 60 teams from different places will stage their performances. From the second day of the new year to the 15th of New Year, there will be floats being displayed. The location includes Kai Tak Sports Park. The performing teams will stage their performances at various locations. On the second day of the new year, there will be the Lunar New Year firework displayed lasting 23 minutes. The firework will light up Victoria Harbour. The third day of the Chinese New Year, there is the race day of the Year of the Horse. On the fifth day of the Chinese New Year, at the Hong Kong Stadium, there is the Chinese New Year Cup 2026. It gives us all a chance to see football stars. There is also the Lam Tsuen Wishing Tree Festival, Hong Kong Well Wishing Festival, activities at Wang Tai Sin Temple and Che Kung Temple. To ensure a great experience for our visitors, the Interdepartmental Working Group on Festival Arrangements, chaired by the Chief Secretary, has convened a meeting last week. Arrangements have been made on transport, tour, visiting tours, and various areas. The Tourism Board has has disseminated information on Discover Hong Kong. There is also information disseminated by various departments. In the coming 2 months, there will be a series of events staged in Hong Kong. From the 17th of the 20th of the Chinese New Year, there will be Live Golf 2026 taking place in the Fanling Golf Course. There are a number of activities taking place in March, including Art Basel in Hong Kong, Art Century, and Complex Con, all taking place in Hong Kong. In the coming months, after the Chinese New Year, we will organize a series of activities to keep the happy atmosphere up. Thank you. That's the end of the press conference. Thank you.